Linie gut. Sicher rein. Bis 12. Hälfte. Ja, ja. Hart. Okay. Hey, wie mache ich den Stopp auf?
4-2.
6-5 даже. 4... Не, 6-5 я бы попросил.
Хорошо, Женя, сыпь. Сыпь. Окей, видел. В дом тащите.
Давай.
23-й попробуй. 23-й есть?
А нужен?
Да, нужен. Подвоз с закрытием. Окей. Что страшно?
Nej, dritt i halv.
Linie gut. Ja. Ja, halt! Damit, halt!
Weiter.
Vierte Eis.
Под красный сюда. Контроль. Легко. Нет, ждем. Да, Антох.
Schwierig zu sagen, es ist so ganz andere Händel.
Да. Хорош.
Нормально было?
Да, неплохо было. Я ждал большего свала.
Gut nochmal.
Ist gut. Ja, ich denke, es geht gegen die 40.
Я просто получилось, что релиз сделал пожестче. Нормально.
Linie gut.
8.
Easy. Justin. Gut.
4. Nur wenn musst, vorne 4.
Ja.
4.
Ja.
Halt.
Ja.
Halt.
Halt.
Halt, weiter.
Ja.
Halt. Gut so.
Gut. Vierte Eis. Gut die Länge.
Борт, Димон. Видно на борт?
Ага.
Но мне кажется, борт может шутера уйти.
Хак.
Gut Länge. Ja. Ist die gerade Zeit. Nice. Das ist besser. 14.
Чуть шире. Воу. Внимание.
Не.
Хорошо все. Антон. Давай, Антон, давай. Хорош, Димон.
Gaat er een bisschen weniger.
Good morning, Curling World.
Vierte Eis ist super.
We're a minute or two late, but the players are not. Welcome back to this final day of curling here at the second ADELBODEN International. You join us here for our featured semi-final game. And it's against, or rather it's between Team HOESLI from Switzerland and Team Glukovh from Russia. Team Glukovh is the last of our foreign guest teams still in the competition.
Super. Sicher shot.
We'll be saying hello to the teams in just a minute.
Ist gut.
And Team HOESLI, they have last stone in this first end. They are throwing red stones. And they are conveniently wearing red uniforms. Glukovh from Russia. They are throwing yellow stones. They do not have last stone in this first end. And they're wearing the lighter uniforms.
Даже если они здесь что-то сделают, у нас будет раз
He tuned in last night for the quarterfinals.
Им тоже, им надо
It
здесь
wasn't
идеально
Glukovh they were watching, but
сделать,
that was
там еще
a
Гартер
really
может
exciting game
мешать.
over on Sheet D yesterday evening against Team Young Hess. That went all the way to the wire, all the way to the very last stone of the 8th end. It was a very busy club room watching the last stone. A lot of pressure on Glukovh, but he made a very nice backline tap through to earn their place in this semi-final. Now over on Sheet C, we have an all-Swiss affair for the second semi-final. That is Team Jungen, who are from here in Club ADELBODEN, and they are playing Team Schnider, another Swiss team. So we're guaranteed at least one Swiss team in the final. So plenty of guards out front this morning, just to get everyone thinking right away. Hösli does have last stone, but a lot of dangerous yellow guards out front there. I think time to get time to get rid of a few yellows here. Time to start clearing a bit of space. So first throw of the morning for Yves Stocker. And don't get confused, we'll be introducing the teams in just a minute. So he boots one of them and maybe mixes up the angles a little bit.
Я думаю, что чуть-чуть раскаталось, поэтому в районе 8.
Поздний брейкпоинт, я думаю, будет.
But that does give Russia quite a nice opportunity to put a bit of pressure on here early in this first end. First throw for Dmitry Mironov this morning. So it was quite a late finish for these guys last night. Everybody was in the club till about 11:30 at night. So quick turnaround for them. Yeah, we can see just a few stones dropping short this morning. That did have a nice weight, so even though it got a bit of a curl, it does end up bouncing into the house. But yeah, I think Yves Stocker can see most of that yellow, and he will be eager to just get rid of that.
Здесь прямо шел вот сюда, вот, помнишь? Свозить. Или это не здесь?
Нет, это не здесь.
Yeah, no trouble there. Nice controlled weight from Yves, and he sticks it right there as well, blocking off that path from Russia. And Russia could try the same again. They could try putting a stone round the centre, but it's only the first end. No need to be aggressive, particularly at the moment, and I think this is the right idea for Sergei Glukovh. We have superfan Megan in the chat. Good morning, Megan. Or good evening, as I think it is for you, isn't it, in Canada? Thank you for staying up late for us. We have Ivan in the chat. I think Ivan was here yesterday evening. I think Ivan is a Russia fan. Welcome, Ivan. We're glad to have you. Yeah, the technical gremlins were out this morning, but we're just about keeping them under control. If you want to say hi, if it's Sunday morning breakfast for you, or if you're further east, maybe it's getting towards brunch or lunchtime. We love to hear from you. don't feel shy. Everyone in the virtual club here is very nice. So you can let us know who you're cheering for in this game, who you're supporting maybe in the other game, what you think of this weekend's curling.
Сам по понимаю.
В смысле, что такое же вес, такая же линия, да? Ну да, похоже.
And first shot of the morning for Philip Hösli, throwing fourth this morning. And you can see there are 2 yellows lying around, so at the moment Hösli may be forced to score something here, but let's see.
Easy.
I guess Philip is going for a nice hit and roll behind cover.
Hefty.
See that nice controlled weight again. But yeah, we've seen the stones really catching a curl towards the end on that gentle weight, and indeed I think that's caught too much of a curl now.
Okay,
So it does hang around, but I don't think it beats the yellow. Well, they're both having a look at it. Our angle is the same as yours today. But either way, that yellow in the front ring there is still looking quite dangerous. And indeed, I think that's a lovely shot. I like that dangerous yellow where it is, right in the centre in the front ring. That's really blocking the path for Hösli. And I think indeed just bumping that yellow on the right of our screen, I think that could give Hösli a bit of pressure already in this first end.
Сюда вес примерно представляем?
If you're just joining us, good morning, welcome, welcome. We're on the semi-final stage here in the second ADELBODEN International 2021 edition. We are watching Team Hösli from Glarus Club here in Switzerland, and they are playing Team Glukovh from Russia. And I think there should be a really interesting encounter. This is the same Russian team that recently finished second after the round robin at the World Championships and ended up placing fourth. And it was a strong team performance, but it was a particularly outstanding individual performance from that man sliding down to take his shot, Sergei Glukovh. So I think this will be a good encounter. Team Hösli really going from strength to strength, getting stronger and stronger, and I think they will definitely fancy this game this morning. And I think we're in for a tasty encounter here. And good morning, Daniel. Daniel Hösli, you can guess who he's supporting today. I think Daniel is just about VIP here in the virtual club. He's very frequent flyer as well. So nice stones there from Russia. They've set up this first end pretty nicely, forcing Philip Hösli to play a shot here. Yves Stocker also having a look at the 2 stones in the outside rings. And Team Glukovh, they must be getting a bit tired of facing brothers Hösli. As I said, they were playing Team Jan Hess last night, and for reasons we shall discuss in just a minute, they were also up against Marco Hösli. And as I said, that game was a really exciting one, went all the way to the very last shot of the 8th end. But Glukovh being victorious there, so I'm sure brother Philip Hösli, he will be looking for some revenge for the family. And I think he's played this just perfectly. Really nice start from Philip there.
No? Sure?
He's just having a bit of a giggle there, saying, "Oh, what do you think about two shots?" And the Russians saying, "Well, I'm not so sure. You can definitely have the one." And then, well, they're not measuring it, so they've agreed either 1 or 2 points. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. If you think there's a chance and you say, "What do you think about 2 points?" It's up to the opposition to say, "No, I think I'll measure it." It's not trying to cheat, it's just making a suggestion. So I think that was probably just one. I could see Yves having a bit of a giggle there when he was suggesting 2. So that was a super shot from Philip, but that was a good force from Russia actually. They'll be happy with that start. So while they're setting up for end 2, let's say hello to the teams properly. On Team HOESLI this weekend, we have 4th thrower is Philip Hösli, 3rd thrower and skip is Yves Stocker, 2nd thrower Marco Hefti, and lead thrower Justin Hausherr. And on Team Glukovh, we have 4th and skip is Sergei Glukovh, 3rd thrower Dmitry Mironov, 2nd thrower Evgeny Klimov, and lead thrower Anton Kalalb. Now, why was it that Team Glukovh had to get past Marco Hösli yesterday evening and separately Philip Hösli this morning? That is because Team Jan Hess, who were in the quarter-final last night, they will soon be playing the Universiade games. That's being held also here in Luzern in Switzerland. They will be representing Switzerland at the Universiade, including Marco Hösli. So they have switched players for the weekend. Marco playing with Team Jan Hess and Yves Stocker playing with Team HOESLI. And that's to give those 4, Team Jan Hess featuring Marco Hösli, that's to give those 4 a chance to practice this weekend. And yeah, seemed to go well for them, I think. I think no shame losing to this Russian team, as I said, recently finishing 4th in the World Championship, and having a super game with them, so I hope they were pleased with their performance this weekend. But that's what's happening, so that's why you will see Yves Stocker skipping Team HOESLI this weekend. There he is, that's Yves holding the brush. Don't get confused with the uniforms. We've had several confusing lineups this weekend with wearing different shirts and whatnot, but that is Yves Stocker in front of you skipping Team HOESLI this weekend. And yeah, the substitutions seem to be working quite well for Team HOESLI as well. They're here in the semi-final. Let's see if they can get past this strong Russian team.
Linie noch nicht. 5-1.
So HOESLI being forced to score 1 in that first end. And why is that forced to score 1? Why does Team HOESLI not really only want to score 1? That's because scoring 1 with your 1 last stone is kind of the default. If we just did that for 8 ends, we would end up with a score of 4 each as we switch last stone. So if you want to win the game, you have to do something different. You have to do better than scoring only 1 with last stone. And that's why Russia will be pleased that they forced Philip Hösli to only score 1, and now Russia has last stone in the second end. I can update you from the other semi-final happening on sheet C to the right of our screen as we see it. That is Team Jungen from here in Club ADELBODEN, and they are playing Team André Schnider. I think that will be another super encounter. And that was a blank end in their first end. If you're looking on the website, rather unhelpfully, Team Jungen is down as Team Boys. Although I think that may just be because my my browser is translating from the German. But yes, it's Team Jungen playing Team Schnider, blank end in end 1 for them. And we'll keep up to date with that encounter as well.
Oh, no.
That's nice stuff from Team HOESLI. You can see Russia has that corner guard, which they are now going to use. But Team HOESLI just leaving that red stone hanging around. Could become dangerous.
Russia, Женя легко. Окей, линия хорошая. Внимание, линия. Окей, ждем. Линия. Sip. Whoa.
This looks pretty nice. Is it going to run on a bit? Oh, it is. They've got a lovely line. But there we are. That's not going to help. I think it is hanging on, but cancelled out by that red.
Kann 14-4 Kopf sein.
Halb auf, finde ich gut.
Да, не сказать, что я пытался добавлять.
So Eve deciding that they want to block that path now. Don't give Russia a second chance to use that corner guard. Don't give Russia a chance to start building some stones.
Сказать, что я сильно как-то сделал.
Easy.
Hinein. Kleine andere Spur, oder?
Ah, ist okay. Immer Justin.
Oh.
Now the free guard zone is over. Eve could just have removed that corner guard.
Ohne 4 sind wir. Warte.
Easy.
Kannst nicht.
But I think he's been cautious because that yellow at the back is hanging on, and if he removes the corner guard, there would be a chance for Russia to lie 2. So he maybe prefers to get a red stone in behind there, and then he might think of removing the cover.
Думаю, пятой зоны сделать можно.
Бэк вылет вообще, думаю.
Ага. Чуть-чуть сильнее сделать.
Gut, jetzt.
Что, легко?
It was a late finish last night for both of these teams. Both games went the distance.
Whoa. Внимание. Zip. Whoa. Roll.
That's a nice controlled shot from Russia there. That yellow's nicely hanging around. So a similar idea then for Team HOESLI.
15-0 auf der Spur.
They just want to follow that same line and try and neutralise that yellow, cancel it out. They're sort of committed to this aggressive end now rather than removing a shot. So first stone of the second end for super sub skip Eve Stocker.
Von 8 ist okay.
Мне тоже казалось, что я так же кидаю вообще абсолютно.
Achtung!
Ohne 4 ist perfekt. Nur Länge. Dranbleiben.
Потому что это только эта сторона.
It sounded like everybody was pretty happy with it.
Justin bleiben.
And Luke makes it around the guard by nothing at all. Well judged, Philip.
Perfekt. Alle.
And he's got it spot on. Look at that. What a nice shot from Eve Stocker. Late finish not affecting these teams. Everyone in top form already first thing this morning.
Backline.
Да. Там может
Step low, окей, Жек.
сюда аккуратнее.
Шире.
Хороший вес.
Whoa.
Хороший вес. Может, умирать
Внимание.
сейчас будет.
Zip. 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 Свой скок.
I'm not sure what was the
Aber beide nicht.
perfect result for that stone.
Хорош, Жень.
But I'm not sure that really helped Russia very much.
Наверное, потому что по-свежему.
I think it should be relatively straightforward to
Komm,
just remove that yellow and get a little roll to our right.
Человек. Банальность. Ой, банальность.
As I said, Russia, the last foreign team
bin nicht so Fan.
still in the competition, but we had several foreign guests
Ja, ich finde das gut.
with us for the weekend. We had two new young teams from Italy. That was Team Rizzoli and Team Colli.
Anlocken ist nicht so geil. Wird immer so rollen,
Team
oder?
Rizzoli, we watched their quarter-final against Team Jungen yesterday evening.
Raus, mit dem kann ich leben. Ich höre,
They
aber
gave
langsam
a really good account to themselves, Team Rizzoli. They dumped out Team Stefan Walstad from Norway on their way to the quarter-final and put up a really strong fight against Team Jungen. So I think they'll be pretty pleased with their weekend's work.
Fort.
And we had young Team Nyman from Sweden,
Und ein bisschen rollen lassen ist okay.
who were completely fed up with playing Team Schnider from Switzerland. They ended up playing them twice, with Schnider winning both of those encounters to win their place in their semi-final. We also had Team Klima from the Czech Republic, who we saw a couple of weeks ago in Baden. And similar story for them. They put together some really nice stuff, but just lacking a little bit of consistency to finish games out. And another nice shot there for Yves Stoker. There you can see those two reds very nicely lined up. I don't think you can move both of them at once, but maybe you can. I think that yellow just outside both of them, I think that's going to catch one of the reds. We shall see. Yeah, maybe seeing the angle there, maybe that middle red, maybe that squirts underneath the yellow and goes out sideways. Let's see. It sounds like he maybe touched it a little bit wide. No, indeed, the red is caught by that yellow, so one red still lying around, an opportunity to play similar kind of shot now. Just poke that yellow through and get a little roll over to our right. We also had a couple of new teams from France and Netherlands. We had Team Mercier from France, relatively new team still. And we had the Netherlands talent team, their younger junior team, coming through from Netherlands as well. So following in the footsteps of Van Dorp's team, who are in Scotland this weekend. We were also glad to welcome back Sergio Vez and the team from Spain. We got to watch one of their games, and again, really happy to see them performing well at this level again.
Easy.
And last but not least, we had Team Walstad from Norway, who were a little bit out of sorts. We watched one of their games, and they didn't quite seem to find their rhythm this weekend. Oh, there's a lovely shot from Philip. He just gets that back yellow out just as a little bonus, and leaving Russia with not a lot on, it must be said. So this is really well worked from Team HOESLI in the second end. Russia has last stone, but struggling a little bit to build anything. 3 stones to come in the second end. 2 for Russia, 1 more for HOESLI. We can quickly say thank you to the sponsors of this competition. They make it a nice, attractive competition for the teams. We're all very well looked after. There's a nice players' lounge where everybody can hang out and relax. We all get our lunch here at the club. We have a lovely view out of the window. It's been lovely and sunny all weekend. There's some beautiful hiking and waterfalls here around Adelboden, and the generous sponsorship also means that we have some nice prizes for the teams who get this far. The teams who made it to the quarterfinal last night, they all get prize money of 300 francs. The 2 teams who lose these 2 semi-finals, they will all get their entry money back. They will get 500 francs prize money. The losing finalist will get 800 francs prize money, and the winner of the competition will of course get the lovely trophy, as well as 1,200 francs prize money. And that's very helpful for competition costs for your next time for your team. So accommodation costs, travel costs, that kind of thing. And dear oh dear, that's not it at all, Russia. And you are going to be facing a hatful with your last shot now. Megan says it does look like a lovely area, and it really is. Imagine what you think a picture postcard Swiss mountain town looks like. And you're right, that's exactly what Adelboden looks like. All nice wooden chalets and mountain flowers. It's really lovely. Yeah, I like where Yves is putting his brush just now and just kind of try to block off all the paths for Russia. So I think, yeah, definitely the counterclockwise handle. This is the obvious path for Russia to play with their last stone. One stone each, one for Hösli, one for Russia. And they're just making sure we're all aligned with exactly where we want this stone to land. We don't want this stone coming too far in, otherwise we will actually make Russia's life a little bit easier. I think where Yves was pointing, just level with that red stone already in the front ring. I would quite like it there. If you bring it in too far, if it's more like T-line, then Russia will have a relatively straightforward hit and stick. So we really want to put pressure on. And the best way to do that is just about front ring. So I would say even better a little bit shorter with this stone.
Easy. Yep.
The sweeper's guiding it all the way. Concerned Russian faces there. And he has been cautious, Philip. He's thrown that just to the front ring. I think they haven't quite caught the right line though, so there is still plenty of space for Russia to outcount these, but there you can see the stone closest. Well, it's either that red on our right or it's the one right in front of Dmitry Mironov. So this needs to be just about touching 4 foot, I would say. And it looks like he may be using that red stone on our right for a bit of backing if needed. But this is the very definition of a pressure shot. If they lose a big end right here, they're going to make their life awfully difficult. This could do with stopping. Oh dear. And big old Yves gets the chainsaw out, and golly. Well now. I imagine Team Hösli can't quite believe their luck there. That's a huge miss for Russia, dear oh dear. So a big steal of 4 points for Team Hösli in this semi-final. And that makes the score 5 points to 0 after 2 ends, crikey. So we don't want to be thinking about lunch just yet, boys. We do have 6 ends still to play, but indeed quite a mountain to climb. So that certainly changes the dynamic of the game. Rather than a score of 1 each, it is now a score of 5-0. And even though we have 6 ends to play, potentially, I think Yves Stocker will probably be all but hitting for home from here. And he's not going to want anything short, although this does look like it's just coming up a little bit short. Oh no, it looks like that is what he called. He's sticking with the aggressive calls. And if Russia are going to have any chance of getting this back, they need to just settle, put that mistake out of their heads. And they need to just plug it back. They've got 6 ends left. It is possible. They need a nice strong 2 points at this end, using their last stone advantage. Meanwhile, Team Hösli put big pressure on, and it worked for them in that second end, and looks like they're sticking to that in this third end.
Englisch okay, 12.
Really gut, ein bisschen tighter. Yep.
Englisch
It's
okay,
certainly
Linie.
tempting in this situation to already start looking ahead, but we need to concentrate, finish this game out first.
Enge gut.
Easy. 5 ties. Good lap.
Englisch gut.
Bring mir noch ein bisschen.
Я сейчас не вижу смысла ставить.
And two lovely stones there from Jason Hauser to start us off.
23.
А, серьезно, корм?
Да.
Gewusst.
Да, 20-15.
Can see Clock Basher in the chat. Good morning, Clock. And I think, is that Tatiana, a Russian fan? Maybe a bit disappointed just now.
Хорошо. 4-й отлично.
So Russia going for the double corner
Линия
guard.
хорошая.
Sometimes you see the teams putting a corner guard either side of the centre line, but this is also valid just to have a double
Kannst du ein bisschen
corner
bouncen.
guard. That makes it harder to remove them both at the same
5
time.
ties.
Team Hösli not allowed to remove those guards yet. Only 4 stones played. So let's bring another one into the house.
Speel gaan schat tegen de Englisch doen.
Ладно, если мы, конечно, возьмем 3, то будем в игре.
Nicht der Hände.
Linie gut.
Englisch gut. Vorne 12.
3-1-3 и все, мы
drukken.
в игре.
Easy.
12-8.
So if Russia want to score anything, they do have their corner guards there, but they're now going to be looking at 3
Go.
opposition stones on the centre line.
Не, ладно,
Englisch
2.
super. Bisschen
Ja, Länge.
2-2-2, это будет...
This looks nice from Marco Hefti.
Englisch gut.
Lovely line.
Kannst du ein bisschen
And it's
zumachen.
just going to go up right to that red already there. And boop. There we are. That's really nice stuff from Team
Бэк
Hösli.
вылет.
Очень
Если
надо
что, с
здесь-
гардом.
As I said, we're already
Guards
guaranteed
above
one
one.
Swiss team in the final.
Perfekt.
On sheet C, the other semi-final is Team Jungen against Team Schnider.
Hast du auf dem
And
KI?
after 2 ends,
15,5.
Team Jungen picked up 1 in the second
Russia,
end, so
Klima.
that's a score of 1-0 to Team
Sip.
Jungen over Team Schnider. But
Whoa.
plenty of ends to go over there.
Сип. Еще куда-то въебня. Сип,
Dear
развод.
Russia, what's going on this
Whoa.
morning?
Линия какая-то, что ли, классная. Что он так валит?
Ну, да,
Он
я
прям
не знаю.
резко пошел.
Он либо
Doesn't
очень
really
резко
help
валит,
you,
либо
Russia.
идет совсем прям.
У Антохи вот так же туда уехал.
So now what do? You have your 2 stones already there nicely in the front.
Ну ладно.
Aber
I think that's a good idea, yeah.
3 корнергарда зато у нас есть.
Stones lying around out front are just helping Russia.
Ist gut.
Dass es so nicht reinkommt.
Тюжи сделал, но он не может.
So.
So I
Kannst
like
du
this
wieder
call.
ein bisschen in die Mitte machen?
We
Ja,
can get
muss
rid of that
schießen.
corner guard and
Nur
then
würde ich so hoch lassen. 2,5.
get a nice little roll. Or, yeah, you can also
Да, да.
just replace that guard that Russia just moved. But gosh, Russia in all kinds of trouble this morning. Unfortunately, that is often the way. When you're up, you're up. When you're having a really nice, comfortable game like Hösli is here,
Schüssel.
Sind 10 nach 3.
you tend to be playing across the house doubles for fun.
Ja, aber,
And when you really have to dig in like Russia,
Bis.
ja, aber
sometimes it just feels like
Stopp im Besser.
you just can't get your game going at all
Sind ein
when you really need it.
Kann nichts.
And that's just overcurled a little bit. That may give Russia a chance.
Okay.
They can certainly see now those reds.
Стой хорошо, да.
Стей.
Ага.
And I don't think they want to remove both. What they want to do is just
Verlängerung wäre super.
come up to the nose of that red. They will spring out the back one. And then they will lie in front of the other red
Хорошо.
with a nice safe stone behind it.
Zip.
Let's see.
Воу.
Легко.
Нет, шире. Внимание.
О,
Антон. Хорош, Диман.
Спасибо.
Ja, bitte.
Mir gefällt Guard.
Ist gut.
Just like that.
2.
Red still closest to the middle. Red still lying 1 point, but that yellow is very nice and safe in front of that red. But Philip just asking to replace that guard. To be honest, Hösli doesn't mind at all. In fact, they're quite happy if Russia can score only 1 point with last stone in this end. That would bring the score to 5-1. But Hösli would have last stone back, so that's why just putting another guard on there makes sense.
Linie komt goed.
Hefty!
Hefty, breng nog een. Beide.
Beide!
Hard.
Definitely Russia can play on that yellow they just threw
Hard. Nog een
and
witte.
try to make something of it, but
Super zo.
that doesn't really bother Hösli. They're so far up already.
Можно всадить дабл красный.
But yeah, just under through that stone a little bit. They were really having to sweep it just to get that stone into play. And I think that held the line a little bit straighter, and that means there is a bit of a gap that Russia can try to sneak through
Если
here.
что, лучше в тот, потому что есть еще варианты от него как-то в красные пойти, расшевелить немного. Я думаю, что колодка нормального так будет.
If they get this right, then they're setting up quite well to get 2 points here, and they really need 2 points back immediately to keep themselves in this game.
Шире, шире, ребят. Внимание. Нет.
Sweeper standing off it just now.
От этого может в дом попробовать.
Нет, нет, нет. Валит.
Is it going to make it past that red? It is not. I think that was a harder shot than it looked actually to catch the curl at exactly the right point. And Philip Hösli looking very serious. Immediately points for another guard. You're not getting a second chance at that, Russia. Going for the Great Wall of China approach here. Just covering that front with reds. So I'm sure Eavestalker will make a little adjustment. He just underthrew that first stone a little bit. The sweepers had to get it over and lost the line a bit, but this looks better. There, that path's now all blocked.
Надо пробовать это два там.
I'll say this for the Russians, they rarely seem to look like they've given up, you know, that they really keep fighting, they really keep trying. I feel for Sergei Glukovh out here, he is in all kinds of trouble.
В принципе, не так пол камня попасть, чуть меньше.
Very skip Dmitry Mironov coming up for a chat.
Йо, нет, очень сложно. Это невозможно, так не валит здесь. Здесь есть варианты какие? Красные, красные, желтые. Убрать этот красный.
While they're discussing, let's go to our chat, and I can see Carolina in the chat. She's saying go Team Hösli, and they sure are this morning. They've come bouncing out of the blocks in this semi-final. As I was saying, Glukovh made it to the semi-final by defeating Team Jan Hess. And we have swapped players for the weekend. Eavestalker standing behind the back line there. He's normally the skip for Team Jan Hess, but they have switched. And Marco Hösli was playing with Team Hess this weekend to practice for the Universiade. And that was a great game with Glukovh and Russia just winning on the very last stone of the 8th end. And Philip was in the club watching that game very closely and definitely maintaining family pride with this performance so far this morning.
Не в ту сторону чуть-чуть.
That does move things around, but I'm not sure it particularly helps Russia. I think.
Теперь нам плохо.
Well, I was going to say I think the Swiss could just put another guard back, but actually they don't even hardly need to. I think it. That the red guards are still just covering about half of that yellow in the rings.
Der andere ist
And
wahrscheinlich...
now they're discussing, shall we just put a second red
Ja.
round the back of
Aber es ist
everything?
das bessere Resultat. Also da können wir nicht. Ich habe das Gefühl, der muss so präzise sein. Dann machen wir zuerst Guard und gehen dann nachher.
Machen wir Guard.
Ja. Also, wie du
Ich
want to
finde
twist the
das
knife.
ein hoher Guest da.
Ja, am Anfang ist es so hart, ist schwierig.
Hey, ich finde...
Geht gut.
Weißt du, halb rum da.
This is quite a nice problem to have. They're +5, they're lying 1. What should we do?
Ja. Ja, wir müssen einfach etwas von dem abdecken.
Ja, ja. Ja gut, wir können einfach kein Loch haben.
Ja, ja, genau. Also wenn wir da sind, ist gut. Gleich Size wie bei mir.
Ja, finde ich gut.
And this experience a little bit different for Philip Hösli. Normally he's third thrower. But seems to be working for him, throwing 4th stones this weekend. So well done, Philip. It's different throwing 4th stones compared with throwing 1, 2 or 3. There's nobody coming after you when you're throwing 4th. And it really doesn't suit everyone. There are plenty of people who just don't like throwing 4th.
Linie gut.
So good for you, Philip. Stepping up, doing that this weekend.
Easy.
Clean.
Yeah, easy. That's got a bit of space yet.
Ja, ja. Easy.
Easy.
Clean. Gut so.
Yeah, I like that call. I don't think they need to make their lives complicated here. Team HOESLI. You can use that red that Philip just threw. You can drive that back onto the yellow. The yellow's not going anywhere, and the red will squirt back. But that doesn't seem to be what he's doing. I'm not quite sure what the call is. Russia does have last stone, but remember, to score anything here, they have to do something about that red right behind that yellow. And they have the Great Wall of HOESLI in front of them. It could be they're just trying to use that guard thrown by Philip and just try to go around the back of everything. Try and grab a piece of the forefoot. Hope they can get a miss.
Сип! Отскок хотя бы.
Gosh, just really out of gas this morning, the Russians. Nothing's working for them at the moment.
Ich habe mir noch überlegt, Guard vor das immer. Ja, du musst da etwas machen für das, ist gut.
Schau kurz, wenn wir da rein können. Weil das läuft recht gerade am Schluss, ne?
Ja.
And again, luxury problems for Team HOESLI.
So.
They're +5, they're lying 1. They have a wall of stones in front of the forefoot. But no risk to this shot. This is a good idea from Philip HOESLI. He thinks, yeah, I'll just go for T-weight, right round the back of everything on the counterclockwise handle. No risk to this shot, and if he gets it right, he could be lying 2. And it's always good to have a bit of a practice at throwing T-line as well. But you just saw Eve sweeping the path a little bit. I don't think we've played out this wide yet, so it could still be a little bit stickier, a little bit frostier out there.
Clean.
Linie ist gut. Boden.
Can be quite difficult playing these shots so wide because they tend to put on their brakes right about now and just stick down, but this looks like a great effort from Philip. Has he found the forefoot? Golly, this is exhibition stuff practically here. I think they probably can't believe how well this game is going for them, Team HOESLI.
Это тоже по широкой, только тэп. Здесь они хотя бы сейчас кинули, мы знаем.
they could follow Philip Hösli's shot. That's maybe the best way to try and get a point here. They've just seen it played. I think Eve already going back up the other end to prepare for end 4.
То же самое, просто бросок сложнее.
Что так очень сложно, что так очень сложно.
Все, спасибо.
Well, I don't think any of us expected this. I thought this would be a pretty tight affair, but gosh, nothing working for Team Russia this morning and everything working for Team Hösli. So for the sake of good curling, let's have a nice stone here. He's trying to just bump that yellow directly into the forefoot. Looks like a good effort. And I think he's even got it. Good for you, Sergei Glukovh. Wow. That was a bit of a shot to nothing, but great job for them. So let's hope that steadied the ship a bit. There you can see they're immediately putting that score of 1 yellow up on the board. Hopefully that will cheer everyone up in the Russian team. And they can start to rebuild a bit from here. In the other semi-final on sheet C, that's Team Jungen against Team Schnider, and that was a steal of 1 for Team Jungen in the third end. So they lead 2-0 over Team Schnider after 3 ends. And Megan in the chat says he doesn't get rattled easily. I think she means Sergei Glukovh, and I agree with you, Megan. As I said, you know, I'll give you this to Russia, that they really don't get rattled easily. They just keep trying, they keep plugging away. They know what shot's possible, and they keep trying for it. I think you and I would be wondering when the next train home is, but that's not what they're saying.
Okay.
But danger now for Russia, because Team Hösli has the hammer back again. And gosh, they're already going for a tick shot in end 4. Looks like they are starting to consider early lunch.
Backline.
Oh, yep. Я думаю, вон у нас тут один муром.
Backline out.
But I know we always have lots of Russian fans tuning in. They're very loyal, very dedicated. So I'm glad for them that they got something to cheer now. And that will be replaced. It's still protected by free guard zone, but worth trying. Team Hösli plus 4 points. They don't need a lot of stones in play. They don't need to take risks. And whatever happens here, the 2 winners of these semi-finals, they will be back on ice at 1:30 European for the final of this event, of the second ADELBODEN International. Started off with 20 teams. We're now down to 4. We've watched a lot of good games. We've seen plenty of our new teams represented, as well as, I would say, these 4 names out on the ice now, a little bit more familiar. But I think we've been impressed with several of the young teams. The 2 Italian teams, I think, have had a pretty happy weekend. We watched Team Nyman from Sweden. I think they've had a pretty successful weekend.
12-8.
Ja, Linie.
Bring. Enge komt ook, hey.
Harde.
So nice weight there from Marco Hefti, but not quite finding the cover. And that does give Russia the opportunity to come around the other way and use those two guards. Yeah, and as I said, you and I might be wondering when the next train home is, but that's not the Russian way. They will keep plugging away. They really don't seem to get too dispirited too easily. They're very tough mentality, this team, I think. And they will keep just putting the guards out, trying to get a stone in behind. They've got 5 ends still to go, plenty of time. And I know we always have plenty of Russian fans tuning in, so I'm glad for them. They've got something to cheer. And this is more like it from Russia. That's a really nice throw from second thrower Evgeny Klimov.
Close. Oh. Easy. Clean. Good.
And no trouble there. Eavestalker just now wanting to remove that cover. As we said, Team Hösli don't need to take any risks. They're already +4. They don't need to score multiple points. They just need to keep this game ticking over.
Линия отлично. Линия отлично. Все, есть. Хорош.
Either way, whoever gets to the final, we will have a new champion this year. Last year's final was between Team Yannick Schwaller and Team de Cruz. That's worth catching, actually, if you didn't see that game last year. It was a bit of a strange one, let's say. But yeah, de Cruz won this tournament last year. Both of those teams playing in Scotland this weekend. So either way, whatever happens in these semi-finals, we will have a new champion on the trophy. And I always really like that, just to see all the names on the trophy over the years. That's always very special if you can see your own name on the trophy that's there forever. But yeah, that was a bad miss, or an uncharacteristic miss from Marco Hefti there. We still need to concentrate here, Hösli team. As we said, I think the Russians are very tough mentally. They're really not beaten until they're beaten.
Только вес, ребят. Только вес. Зайти 6 за. Можно. Спрячем. Да. Сип, мужики. До конца.
Bit of blistering start this morning with Team Hösli, and now we need to keep that up. Russia finding a little bit of rhythm there. As I said, I think that remarkable shot from Sergei Glukovh in that third end, I think that really seemed to cheer everybody up. And now we need to keep that concentration going. Team Hösli with last stone in this fourth end. And fourth end on sheet C in our other semi-final. They're already into their fifth end, actually. And that was a big score of 3 for Team Schnider. So interesting stuff going on next door. That means that the other semi-final is a score of 3 points to 2 for Team Schnider over Team Jungen. I thought that would be a tight one as well. But that also makes sense at this stage in the competition. As I said, started with 20 teams, and we now have the 4 strongest teams still standing. We started on Thursday evening, was the first round of the round robin, and we've been watching Sheet B here. We've had a featured game every session, and you can catch all of those in the video tab for this competition on WCT TV YouTube channel. This is nice from Eve. That was important to keep that second red in and give Philip Hösli chances with his last stones. Russia, no choice really, but to persist with the uber aggressive tactics. It feels a little bit strange to say they're running out of ends at end 4, but they are. A guard being asked from third thrower Dmitry Mironov. Looks like he's thrown this very nicely. Just needs to catch that curl at the end. And are they going to get it? I don't think they have. They may have taken a bit too much ice, or he maybe just touched it a little bit wide. Maybe they were cautious that it would overcurl, but either way, Eve Stalker can see all of that yellow, and I fear it will not be there much longer. What he doesn't want to do is just nose hit this yellow, because then Russia will be able to do that straight back. So what he wants is either to hit and roll out or to hit and roll behind cover. So that's what Philip will be looking for. I'm always impressed with how Yves manages to fold himself into such a elegant slide. He's a huge man. And we do get a lovely roll, look at that. Great stuff from Yves.
Perfekt.
Last stone then for Russia, 2 stones to come, 1 each. If you're Russia playing yellow, what do you do? Looks like they're throwing a controlled weight at the red right in the middle. I'm trying to get a roll to our left. And again, if he makes this perfectly, this will put pressure on Team Hösli. Oh no, sorry, 2 stones left to come each, so a couple of chances. But first stone for Sergei Glukovh in this 4th end. So it looks like actually he wasn't going for the stone on the 1 foot, he was going for that nice stone on the 4 foot, and he has made that very nicely. So interesting situation here. That little red right close to the centre line. That's still the shot, and I think Russia can get to it certainly. But they're not doing anything about it just now, and they seem to be favouring attacking that yellow that Russia just threw. I feel like you could leave that till last stone, you know, and I think, yeah, I might be more keen on blocking the path to that red right in the middle. We're approaching halfway in this semi-final from the 2nd ADELBODEN International. We're in the 4th end between Team Hösli and Team Glukovh. First stone in the fourth end for fourth thrower Philip Hösli.
Oh.
Clean.
Oh.
Clean.
The sweeper's keeping it clean all the way.
Bring that. Hi. Hi.
I think he's pretty close.
Whoa, whoa.
Sit.
Good.
That's worked out fairly nicely, but yeah, that little path up the centre was always there, although they found a nice place for that red to roll. I think that makes this shot a bit harder for Russia. It's a little bit hard to see from this angle, but you could certainly play something similar to what he played with his first stone, so that kind of backline kind of weight. But your problem is you've got two reds in the 4 foot now. I'm not sure if you can play that controlled hit and roll and still lie shot at the end of it, but they're certainly there. That's a better angle. You can see there's no double take out available, I don't think. But these guys have a better angle than we do. My angle is the same as yours this weekend.
Нам надо, чтобы они разъехались, и нам надо, чтобы наш луч остался. Это сложно. 9. Сколько прошлый был?
I'm just getting a little bit slow out there. We've spent more than an hour for these 4 ends, so they maybe want to pick up the pace a little bit. And there on the far left of your screen, we can see Celine, our event photographer. She's been here the past couple of days. And you can look on Facebook and on Instagram to see her photos.
Whoa, whoa. Хорош. Почти.
So I'm not sure they could have done much more with that shot, the Russians. They've definitely moved one of the reds out of the danger zone. Very difficult to move that yellow, but you can see that red at the back of the 4 foot. I think that's still lying short. And plenty of space for Philip Hösli to draw a second stone into the 4 foot here.
Ja, ganz vier.
Что, если двух уберу, закрываемся? Ну, обычно им пофиг.
Wordt sogar Metige.
Ha?
Wordt sogar Metige.
Ну, сыграем, значит.
Russia really fighting here. And I think doing pretty well to hang on to this game, not letting it get completely out of sight. Although if Hösli scores 2 in this end, I think that would be too big of a reach for Russia to get back, but let's see. Just pointing up to signify the weight's all there, no need to sweep for weight. They were maybe thinking that that path was a little bit stickier again. We tend to play fewer shots so wide, but just overthrowing that slightly, so I think that's definitely one red. So maybe the game not quite out of sight, but certainly still going in that general direction for me. I think that if that's confirmed as one red, that gives us a score of 6 points to 1 at the halfway stage for Team Hösli playing Team Glukovh. As we said, still need to concentrate here. We've seen how easily one shot misthrown can cost a 4. Although typically something's gone a bit wrong before that point if you're looking at 4 stones. So they could maybe do with picking up the pace a little bit. We've had just over an hour for these 4 ends. So second half of this game, 5th end. Russia has hammer again.
5 eyes.
And we have a score of 6 points to 1.
Центр. I like. Guard центр. Поуже, брат.
Anderen spielen.
Classic start for Team HOESLI. They are very safe putting that red straight into the rings because Russia cannot afford to hit it. If Russia just hit that stone and we just exchange hits, then Russia will easily make 1 point. But 1 point isn't really helping them now to bite into that 5-point deficit. And that means that Yves Stocker knows that he can put that red straight into the rings and Russia won't hit it out. They have to play more aggressively than that.
Backline.
And going for the tick shot again here. This is a bit of a mixed doubles tick shot actually.
Heck ist auch gut.
You see this when you have a power play in mixed doubles. So instead of the stones being placed on the centre line, one guard and one just behind T, you place them on the wings instead. And this is a very common shot in mixed doubles, just trying to move that guard. You don't see it so often in this game though, in the fours game.
Okay.
And that will go back. That yellow still protected by the free guard zone.
Ставь 25.
Ja, so. Mega curled.
Yeah.
And it's up to Glukovh where he wants to put that guard. As the non-offending team, he can put that guard back where he feels it was before. And that little missed tick shot means that he can now put up a second guard. Let's see, is he? No, he's going for the opposite corner now, or the other side of the centre line. We've seen him put up a double guard with 2 guards on the same side of the centre line, but trying something different now and putting up a guard either side. And 2 nice stones there from lead thrower Anton Kalalp. Russia with last stone in this 5th end. And set up pretty nicely. So first throw in the 5th end for Marco Hefti. Being asked for a tight guard. Guard tight to the house.
12 is okay. Knapp wie Länge. Länge. Länge kannst du noch ein bisschen. 12, Länge ist gut. 12, 8.
I think he's thrown that a little bit wide. I'm not sure he's quite going to find the line.
Ich kann ein bisschen höher gehen. Okay, so.
Well, for a plan B, that's not a terrible result. I expect what Russia will do is use those reds to hit and roll, or you can do it directly, as Sergei is indicating. It can be difficult, or it can be more difficult to control a roll than to play a dead draw. So the second thrower, Evgeny Klimov, being asked to just draw directly in behind that guard.
Russia.
Чуть-чуть добавил.
Сип. Линия. Сип. Давайте, мужики, линия. Сип.
I think this looks quite good. They seem worried about the line,
Да-да-да,
but
проходим. Сип.
Только вес.
Прошли.
looks quite nice from my
Вот
angle.
сюда, смотрите. Вот сюда.
Yeah,
Сип,
excuse me,
Женя,
yeah,
сип.
indeed.
Расстояние.
That's going to bury itself in nicely, or, well, it just put its brakes on towards the end there, so they can actually still see about half. I thought that was going to bury itself in nicely behind that corner.
Ja, definitiv, ja.
Прошли идеально. Просто расстояние не сделали, видишь?
And we'll see that nice controlled weight from Marco Hefti. And actually, even if it overcurls and moves the guard, they won't mind that either.
Länge ist super.
Oh,
Gut, Heck. Heck.
Oh, Karle!
He's certainly nowhere near the guard. And looks like he's going to catch just a nice chunk of that yellow.
Red.
And separate those reds a bit as well. Nice result for Marco Hefti.
Gute Länge.
This is good pressure again from HOESLI. Russia with last stone. They have corner guards, but they also have 3 reds hanging around the forefoot and hanging around the centre. Yeah, if they want to score anything, they have to do something about all 3 of those reds. So I think it might be time to abandon corner guards for the now. Let's try something a little bit different. Maybe you may have a chance to bring the corner guard back into play later in the end.
Whoa. Sip. Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Да, сип, ролл на фриз. Почти. Хорош.
I think that's pretty much what they asked for, but as you can see, that red lines up pretty nicely with the yellow. And I think that should be a pretty makeable shot for Eve to just play red onto yellow and punch that yellow through. And then they will still, at the end of the shot, have probably 3 reds. In the other semi-final, you can see they're throwing in the opposite direction. They're already on their 6th end, and I can tell you that was a score of 1 point in the 5th end to Team Jungen. And that makes the score 3 points each in our other semi-final. So a very different dynamic of the game over there. They're being very cautious, just trading 1 point here and there. In our game, that big score of 4 in the 2nd end really changed the dynamic. But as we said, Russia never stopped fighting. And they're going to need all of that to get out of this game, because as we thought, red onto yellow goes nicely. And poor old Russia still have 3 reds to deal with.
Это, скорее всего, тут останется, но нам главное поймать сюда. Давай тоже, Жек, какой-нибудь слабый, средний, я думаю. Слабый, давай.
Whoever wins here, our 2 semi-final winners, they will be back on ice at 1:30 European for the final here in ADELBODEN.
Sip! Sip! Whoa! Sip! Не бросать! Не бросать, не бросать,
And I think this shot is about to rather sum up Russia's morning. I think he's just going to over-curl that, and nothing much as a result from that shot. That doesn't help them. And now's the time to just start removing that cover. Don't give them a chance to hide behind anything. We're certainly making up a bit of time with this end. Fairly straightforward tactically.
Easy. Yep.
And this should be very routine shot for Eve. Yep, no trouble there. Nice big peel. And when you're clearing guards like that, you're asked for peel weight. That's your big weight. And the idea is to remove the opposition guard and your own stone. You don't want any stones around after that one.
Здесь просто совсем гадать. Тут хотя бы камень. Здесь хотя бы камень в доме будет, даже если где-то хуже одного, это будет уже лучше, чем мы.
I think that's a better idea actually. If you come around the back of everything on the clockwise handle, I think you maybe have a bit more space. But sticking to the counterclockwise handle, they're maybe more familiar with this path.
Хорошо. Окей, можно ждать линию. Можно ждать. Только вес, только вес. Антон.
Of course, that's not finding the curl at all. That's sticking dead straight.
Этот...
So he was not bad for weight, but not very close to getting birdied. And straightforward shot for Philip Hösli here. He just needs to make sure that he doesn't leave a red lying around for Russia to freeze onto. So we may even see a bigger weight here from Philip, just to make sure that the yellow goes and that Philip's red stone rolls out as well, to not leave Russia anything to play with. Yep, big push out, big leg drive from Philip.
Easy.
He doesn't want this red hanging around. And he doesn't even need his sweepers, and there we go. You can see the difference. If that red had hit on the nose and was still hanging around, that would be a nice little backing stone for Russia to freeze against. And that's why we saw that bigger weight from Philip. So you're in the same situation, Russia. I guess you want to try the same again. I still think maybe coming around the clockwise handle might be more likely to get them a good result here. You can see if you would take quite wide ice on the clockwise handle on the other side of the sheet. I think the guards are staggered nicely for you to swing around the back of everything. But as I said, maybe they feel more comfortable with this path. And actually, instead of going for the dead draw, it looks like he's going for the hit and roll this time. But I think he's got too much weight on that. That's just going backwards, not curling at all. And this would be a straightforward hit and roll out for, or even a hit and stick for Philip Hösli. He just needs to make that yellow go away.
Nu Sticker wäre schon gut. Ja, ist okay. Stil wäre schon gut.
Не сказал бы, что это как-то было сильно.
There should be no trouble for Philip. It's a nice clean takeout.
Oh, oh, oh! Hefty!
Bring that. Halt! Halt!
Looks like that stone's staying a bit straighter as well.
Wait.
But it does hang on.
Четко такая?
Two reds lying around then, and Russia have to draw to make 1 point. I think even if there was a double takeout available, I don't think that would help them, to be honest. I think they have to put this point on the board. They are running out of ends to hang on to last stone. But as I said, I'm really getting the feeling this game is out of reach for them now anyway. But stranger things have certainly happened. They're certainly one of the toughest teams mentally out there. And no mistake this time. And that gives us a score after 5 ends in our featured semi-final. That gives us a score of 6 points to 2. Still possible to make back 4 points. You can see how easy it is to lose 4 points with just one loose shot. So it's definitely still possible to make 4 points back. And Team Hösli has to concentrate, not let this game sneak up on them after that super start. 6 points to 2 then, with 3 ends left to play. So same drill for Russia. They've really had to be aggressive from the third end onwards. And we will see that continuing in the sixth end. I'm sure Anton Kalab will be putting up a nice guard here. And I think they want it to land just where Sergei's brush is. And you may say, oh, that's interesting. Normally we see these stones landing right on the centre line. And you're quite right. And the reason he has probably chosen just to mix it up a little bit, he's put that stone about half a metre off the centre line, and it's for this reason. He knows that Yves Stocker is going to call for the tick shot, and the tick shot is difficult enough on the centre line, and he just wants to change the angle, Sergei Glukovh. That's why he deliberately put that yellow off the centre line, to make it a slightly different path for Hösli to find the tick shot, make it a little bit more difficult for him. So that yellow, definitely not a mistake. That's exactly where they wanted it. Try and make this tick shot even more difficult. And it's worked for him. There you can see, just switching up that angle a little bit. Nice job, Russia.
Ja, vor allem mehr Eisverlangen rausschießen ist ja nicht so geil.
Similar idea, please, from Anton Kalab. He's certainly doing his best to keep Russia in this game. I think he's overthrown this one a little bit, though. He wanted this one a little bit closer to the hog line. Both of these stones still protected by free guard zone, but as you can see, they're pretty much on top of each other. And once the free guard zone is over, I think it would definitely be possible to move both of those with one shot. I quite like that, Yves. Yeah, let's just stay away from those guards. Yep. I quite like taking the play all the way over to the other side. So just stay away from those guards, wait a couple more stones, and then you can remove them.
It's T!
Do definitely make sure this is T-line. We certainly don't want anything short.
15-9 aan de chance, hè?
Big sweep from the sweepers. Nice team shot, well done.
Бэк вылет. Бэк вылет 8. Такой, да.
So this has to be good from Russia. The free guard zone will be over after this shot, and Team Hösli can start hitting those guards.
Whoa. Zip. Zip. Whoa, whoa.
So just trying to get a bit of separation on all of those, trying to remove the possibility for a double takeout, and I think he's played that pretty nicely. You can see those three yellows now all fairly well separated. You certainly can get rid of both of these guards, but I think that was a nice clever shot from Russia there. Try to separate both the guards, and he gets a stone in the house. Would be helpful if somebody would put up the score for the fifth end. It's 6 points to 2, and it's Hösli who has last shot. Just like that.
Sorry, thank you.
Не нравится вам сейчас закрыть центр? А не нравится дальний гад, да?
Nevertheless, that red tight to the house. That could be a helpful guard for Russia. They just want to put up a second guard now on that same line. They want to keep dragging play towards the centre. They want to keep trying to get a stone towards the centre first, try and control that area. And this looks nice. There we are. That's huge separation. That's exactly what they were looking for the last time, but you can see there's no double takeout. Well, a very, very difficult double takeout available from those two, but I doubt you've even looking at the potential double. I think more important, let's just make sure we get rid of that guard. Hösli plus 4 points. They don't need to take risks. They don't need to go for the big double. So second throw, Marco Hefti just wanting to peel that yellow guard. Yeah, they jumped on the sweeping quite quickly after that, and you can see why. I think that stone was maybe a little bit tight away, caught a little bit too much of the yellow guard, and didn't roll out itself. So no trouble getting rid of the yellow, but he definitely wanted his own red stone to roll away. On the other hand, that slightly missed angle means he did manage to get rid of the yellow that was in the house. So swings and roundabouts.
Линия легко.
Вес сам, это 10 запах.
Легко линия. Сып.
Только линия, Серег.
Смотрите.
Антох, если.
Да, Антох, да. Сып, 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 сып.
Important end for Russia here. You can see that red on the right of our screen, just next to where Philip Hösli's standing. That could come into play later on as well. And let's see, but I think if red scores 2 here, I wonder if that would be enough for Russia. I think you need to play 6 ends at least. And this is the 6th end. We have caught up the game next door. They're also just finishing off their 6th end.
Yep. Oh. Clean. Oh. Yep. Sehr gut. Ja, genau, das war nicht so geil.
Повтор, Жень.
Ja, perfekt.
And Eve making that raise take out very nicely. We can see no more yellows in the house. And Russia will, as I said, they will just keep trying, they will keep fighting. Mac Dorich in the chat, he says, good luck Team Russia. They're certainly making a fight of it. Certainly not giving up.
Как можно дальше. Заваливай, заваливай его. Давай. Еще, Антоха, еще. Хорош.
Yeah.
Similar kind of shot, so let's see if Eve can do it again. Again, no need to take risks for Team Hösli, even if they just score 1 point here. I think that's enough to keep the scoreboard ticking over, and that may even be enough for a game over. Has he got it this time? Oh, he has. They are throwing some good stuff, Hösli. It did take Russia a while to get going, but let's take nothing away from Team Hösli. They have been throwing really nicely all morning. So last chance for Sergei Glukovh to really bury a yellow in behind that centre guard. Oh no, sorry, it's the second time I've done that. First chance for Sergei Glukovh to really bury a yellow in behind that centre guard. You can see 4 stones to come, including this one. And that guard just off the centre line, getting further away from the house, making the base takeout a little bit more difficult every time. And still fighting Russia, and a really nice shot, well done. Team Hösli going for that base takeout again, but as I said, that getting more and more difficult every time. That guard getting further and further away from the house. So still an intriguing game going on out there. Hösli does have a big lead, but the Russians never stop fighting. Marco Hefti just about tripping over himself to come out with this really fast stone from Philip, and he's got it as well. And he's left that red on the centre as well. This is great stuff from Team Hösli. In the other semi-final, they're just a little bit ahead of us, so they are now on their 7th end. And that was another big score of 2 for Andriy Schnider. So that means that after 6 ends, the score is 5-3 in favour of Andriy Schnider over Jungen. That's an intriguing game. 2 ends to go over there. Guaranteed a Swiss team will win that game. And this is exactly the kind of shot that Sergei Glukovh was facing last night for the win for the game, and he made it beautifully. So Glukov's last stone in the 6th end.
Линия будет. Сип. Сип. Очень валится сильно. Сип. Сип. Выбиваем. Сип, 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 сип.
He needs to move this red a little bit beyond the tee line. Has he made it? Oh no. That was almost perfect, but he just needed half a metre more weight to just move it. And looks like the proposal is to just catch the edge of that red, squirt it out through that big gap, and you will definitely like 2, if not 3, and I'm sure if red scores 3 here, I am sure that will be a game over. And even if they score 2, let's see. We still haven't put the score up for the 5th end, but it is a score of 6-2.
Easy! Oh! 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 Whoa! FD!
Bring the halt! 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 Halt, Hefti! Halt!
He's trying to sweep it to encourage it to curl now.
Halt!
He's not far off, you know. Out goes the yellow. In stays the red. 3 points to red, and yeah, I think outclassed today the Russian team. A couple of mistakes from Russia, but really strong play also from Team Hösli. Yeah, big win there. Really good stuff. They should take great confidence into the final, whoever they end up playing. So congratulations, Team Hösli. Really strong performance there. And they are off the ice nice and early. They can have a bit of a rest, get some lunch, and they will be back on the ice at 1:30 European time for the final. They'll be feeling pretty happy, I think, about their chance of grabbing that nice big trophy, and they will be playing either Team Jungen or Team Schnider. They are in their 7th end now. Score of 5 points to 3 after 6 ends for Schnider over Jungen. Still plenty of stones left to go in that game, so Our first finalist is Team Hösli, and they are waiting for the winner of the second semi-final. So Karolina, Team Hösli fan, says sensational. Yes, it really was. That was as I said, I know Russia can play better than that, but still that was a super performance from Team Hösli.
Yeah.
So do come back and join us to watch the final at 1:30 European. We will see Team Hösli again versus either Team Jungen or Team Schnider. Thank you for joining us this morning. Bye for now.